All right, legacy over money. This has been a hotly contested free agency period for the Detroit Lions, especially the last couple of days, where Lions fans have, outwardly expressed themselves that they are pissed off at Brad Holmes, that Brad hasn't done enough, and this team is never going to win a Super Bowl. This team isn't going to do anything even close to what they did last season, and on and on and on and on and on. So I'm going to ask you, legacy over money. What does it mean? Are the players to blame for some of this? Is it the players' fault? Or is Brad doing the right things? But today's video, it's more so about what I'm seeing going on in other franchises over the last 24 hours. And maybe if you want legacy over money, you can make it happen. And we'll talk about a few players, but more importantly, I want to talk about a few fans for just a moment. And these fans that have just been saying all sorts of things about Brad. So let's start there. And I'm not going to put their individual names on blast. But for instance, it really started last night again with the Roy Lopez signing at like 10 o'clock at night. And everybody woke up just to rain down on Brad Holmes' parade. So here we go. Started out with a joke of a signing. Literally does nothing for us. He was non-existent for Arizona. Cut Z. And this is how you can see that savings? Bullshit. Okay. He's backup nose tackle that's durable. There is a place for him here. Excited to see what he brings to the table. Plus, we haven't seen the numbers yet. It might be another up to kind of deal. So that was a good statement, right? That was a good statement. How about this one? Signing Roy Lopez to $4.65 million APY would cancel out the 7th round 2026 compensatory pick the Lions had on the board for Ifeatu Melifonwu going to Miami. If you want a 7th round pick, if you are worried about a 7th round compensatory pick, I think we're going the wrong direction. Just saying. How about this one? Detroit Lions new free agent signing defensive tackle Roy Lopez has very, very, very similar stats to Detroit Lions current defensive tackle DJ Reader. That's good. That's a good statement, right? Maybe an underrated signing. So we got a few good ones in here. How about, what I love is that the people in Arizona say he is definitely a Dan Campbell guy, has grit, and is a great human being. That is good enough for me. Besides, a lot of no names contributed last year. Another good point. So Roy Lopez is getting paid backup defensive tackle money. Lions made a solid depth signing, and he will benefit greatly from playing with more talent around him. In limited snaps, of course. Clear competition for Broderick Martin, and he fits the Kyle Pecco mold, just an upgraded version. Next one. Give me an edge. A good one. When I see what the Bears and Vikings are doing, all I say is from first to worst again. And I think that's where I'm going to end it. Let's talk about what's going on around the league, because I think that there's more going on here than what meets the eye. The adjusted cap space for the Detroit Lions was just marked at about $306 million. So they don't have $279 to spend. They have $306 million to spend. That does give them a ton of money to do whatever they want to do. This was a terrible free agency class. A bunch of money going out to players that don't deserve it, right? Inflated cap numbers going out to these guys, or inflated market values, going out to these guys. And, you had a bunch of old, dying breeds of edge rushers in this class, all over 30 years old, a large majority of them. Why would you want to spend $100 million on somebody that is as old as Zadarius Smith or 30? And, the only one that makes any sense here is Trey Hendrickson, and that could still happen today. But I want to point out something about legacy over money. Back in the day, we used to call this MOE where I came from. Money over everything. That's what we adopted as kids, man. That we were just, hustlers, if you will, back in the day. We grew up, we did everything and anything we could to make money the honest and legal way. We hustled. Whether it was 2 or 3 paper routes or, selling baseball cards, whatever it was, we hustled all the time. And I get it. These players, they're hustling to make their dollars. They're working their butts off. They're putting their body out there in harm's way. Car crashes every Sunday. And I get it. They deserve to be paid. But is it legacy you want or is it money? Because I'm going to tell you right now, all the dollars that you're going to get, ain't nobody going to remember you. Nobody. They are not going to remember you for the new deal that broke the internet. Maybe for the next month or the next season. But when you retire, they aren't going to care about how much money you made, right? They're only going to care if you brought a championship and a Super Bowl to their city. So legacy over money. What am I talking about? All right, well, let's get right into it, shall we? All right, so I'm going to kick it off with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown was livid at watching what the Bears did the other day in what was a busy offseason for the Chicago Bears that started back in January with the hiring, obviously, of Ben Johnson from the Lions. Now, the star receiver is just completely mystified or baffled, as the article says, by Chicago's consistency. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is who we're talking about. And he said he was very vocal, right, that after Johnson left, his position as offensive coordinator in Detroit to the Bears is yet again speaking on the moves that the Bears have made this offseason. And the Bears came out swinging even before free agency started. So this week on the St. Brown podcast, which he does with his brother, former Bears wide receiver, Equinemius St. Brown, Amon-Ra discussed the Bears' recent moves, which included 3 free agency signings and 2 trades for offensive linemen. They added guards Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson in trades, as well as a center Drew Dahlman, defensive tackle Grady Jarrett, and defensive end Deo Odeyingbo in free agency. That is quite the haul. It is also over $160 million that they have spent. Now, the Bears moved quick. Obviously, they retooled their roster. They're trying to rebuild quickly. But St. Brown's like, quote, I feel like the Bears have unlimited effing money. This shit is crazy. Once again, the Bears are making some good moves in free agency. I won't even bother playing it. Then he says, quote, I feel like the Bears have unlimited effing money. Shit is crazy. Joe Thuney, boom. Jonah Jackson, bang. Drew Dahlman, bang. Deo Odeyingbo, another crazy amount of money. Grady Jarrett, bang. They're both just breaking everybody else. They have unlimited money. What the F is this? Shit got me hot. Ben is just making moves left and right. For Bears fans, obviously the frustration from St. Brown may be something to laugh at. But for Lions fans, I think this really got us going. I think that this is what started to piss everybody off, that Brad Holmes isn't doing anything. So good job, Amon-Ra. You get everybody all pissed off. So now I'm going to turn the tide on you, buddy, because what I'm seeing around the league is stuff like this. Oh, Field Yates says that the Chiefs have restructured the contracts of quarterback Patrick Mahomes and defensive tackle Chris Jones, creating $49.446 million in cap space. This space plus more needed for Kansas City to sign their early free agents, including left tackle Jalen Moore and cornerback Christian Fulton. Okay. Good work, right? Good work. We'll go a little bit deeper. Here. So the Chiefs opened up a major chunk of cap space ahead of Wednesday afternoon's start to start to the new league year. Field Yates of ESPN reports that they have restructured the contracts of quarterback Patrick Mahomes and defensive tackle Chris Jones. The moves created $49 million in cap room. So some of that space will go to offensive tackle Jalen Moore, running back Elijah Mitchell, and cornerback Christian Fulton after they agreed to deals with the team this week. Now, Mahomes' deal runs through 2031, and the structure of the pact could come up for further discussion in the wake of Josh Allen's massive extension in Buffalo. Jones is signed through 2028. So what does all of this mean, right? Where am I going with this? Because stick with me here for a moment. Just stick with me here for a second. So here's what I'm going to say. St. Brown, you want legacy, buddy? You want to win? Have you marched into Brad's office yet and asked him to take some of your money back? Have you asked him to restructure your contract? Maybe that would help. This is why the Chiefs are going to run it back, right? This is why they're going to run it back and try to compete and contend again here in 2025. Because Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones knew well enough that their team needed some money. And they were more than willing to go renegotiate. I think it was a grave mistake for Brad Mahomes to give Amon-Ra St. Brown $30 million a year. Huge mistake. I don't think another team would have touched him with that kind of money. I really don't. I think it's a grave mistake if they extend Aiden Hutchinson over $30 million a year. I think it's a huge mistake. It's not that I don't like the players. It's not that I don't like what they've done for Detroit. That's not the case at all. It's not like I don't love the fact that they are the core pieces of this team. But if you, the fan, are pissed off at Brad Holmes because he's not going out and wasting $100 million on an edge rusher or wasting $120 million on a defensive tackle like Milton Williams and only signing a $48 million corner, what is the real problem here? Like, what's the real conversation that needs to be had? The Lions have some cap. They do. They have plenty of money right now. But by the time that they do sign Aiden to an extension, by the time that they do sign or extend, Jamison Williams to an extension or a fifth year, by the time next year rolls around and the Lions have to either re-sign, extend, or just leave it be, all of the other guys they drafted in 2023 and 2022, you kind of run out of money. So either you're willing to cut bait with some of these players, like Kirby Joseph, or Aiden Hutchinson, or you're going to have to get rid of Jared Goff at some point. Now, keep this in mind. Jared Goff's contract has not hit yet. Now, for the last 3 years, he's averaged about $33 million a year. His contract hits next year at $70 million. So legacy over money. What is it going to be? If you, the football player, want to go win and you're pissed off at what the Bears are doing across the pond, then maybe you need to wake up and you need to go march into Brad's office and say, look, dude, you paid me too much. I don't need $30 million a year. I would love to have, another edge rusher next to Aiden. I would love to have, another 6'4" wide receiver. If I were to give you, $15 million back this year, would that help? Hey, if I can go bug, Jared to do the same and we come up with another $30 million, would that help? Can we get what we need? Because I don't want to see Ben Johnson doing what he's doing. I don't want to see Minnesota doing what they're doing. And then now we're going to have a rough season because of it. So if Amon-Ra is this pissed off about these things, then he needs to go do something about it. Okay? Then you need to go step up like Patrick Mahomes. Stop getting this fan base all riled up. Brad's doing a hell of a job. He found you, didn't he? And this is not just painted at Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's just he's the one that got everybody all amped up. And that, that's the article that I'm bringing up here. And then when I see the things like Patrick Mahomes is doing and Chris Jones are doing, kind of makes sense. If you want your team to win and you feel like spending money is the answer and not drafting, then please go to Brad Holmes' office and knock on his door and give him a check back. That's all I got to say. Legacy over money. What's it mean to you?